look at whether it's business, whether it is whether it's health, whether it's parliament, whether it's in the school, we need to win over people so that they can be convinced of our stand. So you need to win over the crowd. So when you master this art, you'll be able to win any crowd over to your side. Secondly, public speaking is a forum used to motivate people. A great public speaker attains the power to motivate his audience or her audience to do something, or even to stop doing something. For example, now we are talking of climate change, and we are talking of behavior, how people behave, the human activities that are affecting, that are creating a very huge impact on our climate in terms of how we treat the environment. So a good speaker talking about, for example, the currency topic, which is the climate change, will rally people, will motivate people to stop doing something in terms of damaging the environment, and even to change their behavior so that we can be able to conserve the environment. So one, you'll be able to motivate the people. You'll be able to carry an idea forward. You must be able to excite and enliven your peers, fellow employees, like in your workplace, co-workers, or customers. As a public speaker, your role is to influence your listeners and create an environment where everyone walks out ready to roll their sleeves and get down to work. So anytime that you're given an opportunity to do a speech or to do a piece of public speaking, you should be able to ensure that at the end of your speech or at the end of that sitting, people will be motivated into doing something, meaning that your message have to point out to an action that is expected out of that talk. So you're not merely giving a speech in an attempt to get your audience to take certain actions. Speakers are part of the action, meaning when you want to motivate people, you yourself, you have to be motivated. You don't have to, you can't motivate people if yourself, you are not motivated. In other words, when the audience listens to you, they need to pick out two things. They need to pick out that you have the passion and you also have the drive to do what you are saying. In other words, you yourself, you are 100% convinced of what you're talking about. For you cannot motivate people if you are not motivated. Thirdly, another aspect of public speaking is to inform. And the ability to inform is one of the most important aspects of public speaking. When you do public speaking, you are telling people or you're informing people of something maybe they have heard about it, but you are bringing out new knowledge, or the way you are bringing it out, you are pointing out to different things that they don't know. So the most important is to have their attention. And once you have their attention, a good informative speech, sharing knowledge of a subject with an audience enhances their understanding and makes them remember your words long after you have finished. So it's very important to make sure that they will be able to understand and also to remember through how you were able to inform them and how you're able to package that information. Communication skills enhance your ability to interact with the professionals and fellow colleagues in a qualified and composed manner. Public speaking improves these skills and thus makes you a more worthy candidate. So when you talk of interacting with the professionals and colleagues, we are saying that public speaking, it's not about big English words. Public speaking is not using jargon. We are saying that you need to inform people. You cannot inform people by coming up with very big fancy words which people cannot understand. You need to break it down in a way that people will be able to understand exactly what you are saying. So these are the three reasons why public speaking is important. You need to win over the crowd to your side. They need to see the sense of what you're saying. Secondly, you need to motivate them so that they can have that passion, they can get that drive. And thirdly, you need to inform them. Let them have something new that they have acquired out of that speech. And to be able to have all these three, to win them over, to motivate them, to inform them, there is something here we call a hook. Okay? A hook to your audience. if you want people to understand you, if you want people to keep listening to you, you need to hook them. And we say a hook is an attention grabber, which you put in your presentation, which makes the audience to pay attention to you and to keep listening to you. A hook should come at the beginning of your talk, where it can do the most good. Audiences have a lot of in their minds. I know even now, the 56 of you, you have quite a lot in your mind, eh? And maybe you have been attending a lot of presentations this week, or you're having another one after this, and tomorrow and Friday. So let your audience know right away that you're the speaker that they should be interested in. Otherwise, if you don't hook them, and you're going to see the things that you do to make sure that you capture your audience, because we say that you only have 30 seconds or less than 30 seconds to impress them, whether to listen to you or whether to switch off. So a hook is very important. Whether you are a preacher, whether you are a HR person, whether you are a trainer like myself and yourself, you need to know what topic are you speaking and what will you say to make these people keep on listening to you. And this is why we talk of public speaking skills. And we say that these are qualities which help you to maintain a positive presence and engage with the audience and communicate clearly. In boardrooms, we talk of the executive presence, whereby a particular person entering a room, you notice, even before people are not even told to stand up for a particular person, but the executive presence makes people either to clap or either to stand for that person. So I'm encouraging all of us here that we need to make sure that wherever you go in a public place where you're doing the public speaking, and especially when you are the one speaking, you should kind of create that we call the positive presence or the executive presence, whereby when you just arrive there or when even people are being introduced that so-and-so is going to stand in, your executive presence will be able to be appreciated and seen. These skills allow public speakers to transform a standard presentation into an engaging and exciting one for their guests. You can talk about anything. When you're a good public speaker, or you need to know how to craft your message, organize it so that any topic will become exciting. Just like you remember, I know some of you who can remember around it's now around 15 years. There was a minister who was given a Ministry of Environment, and people are saying that it's not glamorous, it's not shining, it's not prestigious. But when this minister took over the Ministry of Environment, we saw a lot of transformation, especially in cities like Nairobi. So what we are saying is that you can transform that presentation into something very engaging, just like any kind of work in the office. You can transform it. Don't say this is a small role, this is a very small duty. You can transform it into a very engaging. So it's the same with public speaking. It doesn't matter the topic, as long as you have been given time to research on it, you can make it as exciting as it can be. So these skills are essential in the workplace, and they may help you to do very good presentations in the office, at conference or trade shows, all in special events. Number one, we need to learn about is about practicing and preparing. All people feel whenever you are called upon to speak, even people like us who have been going to places, you always, sometimes when the moment comes for you to start a presentation like this one, you feel like you're trembling, you feel like your heart is pounding, and it's not that it is going to make you not to perform. It's only make you to become alert. So the adrenaline rush that makes you sweat also makes you more alert. Whenever you find there is that adrenaline and you feel like butterflies in the stomach, that is normal. And the more you practice, you understand that it is not supposed to disturb you. It is supposed to keep you alert and ready to give the best. So practice and prepare. If you haven't practiced, if you have not prepared, then the situation becomes worse. But if you have practiced and prepared, you are ready to go. Secondly, you should know your audience. Your speech is about them, not you. So you are going to talk about farmers growing their avocados in Murang'a or Kisii. So you need to understand, is it about the farmers? So that your speech is not about you, it's about them. So before you begin to craft your message, consider who the message is intended for. And you should dig and learn as much as you can about your audience so that at the delivery level, you will be able to deliver, even answer questions they might be having even before they answer. And again, you'll be able to gel very well with them. You'll be able to connect very well with them, because if you're talking to farmers, you'll not be talking about, this is about farming. So you'll be talking about the soil, the fertilizers, the seeds, the market, and all that. So you'll be able now to bring all the issues that surround the issue to do with the farmers, so that you also don't look out of place, and they also identify with you. Today, I was listening to a debate of one of the governors who was elected in Kajiado, and he was saying that because he was a cook at Utali College, when he was going around doing the campaigns, he was able to identify with the ladies or the wamamas, because the wamamas were saying, "Huyu ni mpishi mwenzetu." Are you getting it? So what you're saying is that know your audience, and you will be able to connect with the audience. You become humorous, like this governor who was telling the ladies that I'm one of you, mimi mpishi kama nyinyi, nipatieni kura. So you'll be able to identify with the audience if you dig onto them, right? Organize your material in the most effective manner to attain your purpose. Create the framework. Whenever you are to speak in public, organize your message, or organize what you're going to say in an outline, so that you'll be able to know that if I'm given 1 hour, within that 1 hour, I'll be able to have covered this and this, and you'll be able to you'll be able to cover it. So it's always very important to organize it. Write down the topic, the general purpose, specific purpose, central idea, and main point. So you write the topic. General purpose is what we are talking about. Like today, we are talking about public speaking. And then specific purpose, we can talk about like the public speaking skills. And then the central idea is for us to be able to deliver, right? Then you can put those main points, and you can even highlight them, so that when you are delivering, you make sure that there are things that they are a must you have to deliver, they are a must that you have to mention them. Make sure to grab the audience attention in the first 30 seconds. Okay, when you stand in front of people, there are things that you do to ensure that you grab the attention, and we are going to look at some of them. Another thing is that be yourself. Don't become a talking head in any type of communication. You'll establish better credibility of your person if your personality shines through, and your audience will trust what you have to say if they can see you as a real person. I'm hoping this is getting clear. Let me repeat it again. Use your personality. The problem with that some people get when they're doing public speaking is trying to imitate others. So they are not themselves. Their personality is removed, so they are invoking somebody else. And the problem with this kind of a copy paste is that you don't measure up to that person you are trying to be. So at the end of the day, when you are delivering, people will notice that this person is either trying to impress us by his words, he is trying to impress us with his sound. Just talk naturally. Make sure you talk naturally. Don't appear artificial. That's what I'm saying. Use your personality. Okay, if you're a person who talks and smiles, if you can use your hands to like explain something, be yourself. Don't try to imitate somebody. Let your personality shine. In other words, when you are doing public speaking, you are marketing yourself as a brand. You're not marketing any other person. So you should be comfortable in your own skin. Can I repeat it again? Be comfortable in your own skin. Don't try to impress people by imitating somebody you saw somewhere. Number 5, don't read notes. A good number of people read the notes, And the problem when you are reading notes is that you disconnect with the audience. So reading from a script or slide fractures the interpersonal communication. By maintaining eye contact with the audience, like I am doing, by maintaining eye contact with the audience, like I am doing, you keep focus on yourself and your message. A brief outline can help you to jog your memory. In other words, you'll have written your message, you'll have gone through it. So when you're presenting and you're having face-to-face with your audience, you don't have to keep reading because that will disconnect. And they'll also see like you are not prepared. They'll see like you don't understand your topic, so you lose them. So it's always important not to read notes. Actually, there's a former Prime Minister of Britain called Winston Churchill. He said that I write notes, but I don't need them when I'm giving the speech. Meaning he would write the notes and then go through those notes so that when he stands in front of the audience, he doesn't need to read. He'll just need to say it out, right? Right, so that's how it should be. If you can be able to stand in front of people and not reading the notes, because as a public speaker, you should be like this gentleman. You just communicate. We don't really want to see you reading. So even when you read the notes, you should read in a way that I, as an audience or part of the audience, I should not see you actually reading the notes. That's the secret. That even when you are reading the notes, the audience should not understand that you're reading the notes. So how do you keep the audience captivated? And you know, today in today's world, we are saying that attention span of people have diminished. So how do you keep guys motivated for a 1 hour talk, especially in a situation like this one when we are sharing from different corners of this part of the country? You can keep your audience captivated by asking a question. That will also depend with the kind of topic that you are discussing. For example, if you are discussing about climate change and you're talking about climate change, you can ask like a question like, this year we are in September, how many trees have you planted since January, right? So we are talking about climate change. So if you ask guys, can you remember the number of trees that you have planted? This keeps them jogging their mind. They start now connecting with the topic. So questions can be a great opener for public speaking, because the greatest problem for a public speaker is how to make people open up, how to make people now connect with you. So opening your speech or presentation with a rhetorical question helps to give your audience something to think about. On the other hand, you can use a question that require answers to establish a two-way conversation that will get your audience engaged. So you need to say something that and also evoke or expect a response from the people. That way, people will start opening up, and you'll be able to connect with them, and you'll be able to move. So a question is very important, but the question has to be relevant to the topic. Number two, you can tell your audience a story. Starting off a speech by telling a story will certainly hook the audience, right? Again here, a story has to associate with the topic. It doesn't have to be off-mark. So the story has to be related to the story. And for those who read the Bible, you see Jesus was always giving what we call parables. So you could give a story, maybe about the sower and how some seeds fell into the thorns and others fell into the good ground. And then he would explain what he meant. So a story is very important because number one, people like stories. Yata nyinyi mnapenda story. So, but a story that is relevant and also exciting. So people remember stories. They'll say, so and so give us a story or give us an illustration concerning 1, 2, 3. So a story actually is also, I can say, it's also a catalyst for remembering, because you'll say, okay, I remember so and so. This speaker was saying, giving us a story on this. So a story helps people to catalyze, it comes up as a catalyst for jogging the memory to remember. Stories also will help you deliver your message in a persuasive, interesting, and clear manner. So when you give a story, people feel persuaded, and it's also interesting. But remember, a story has to be relevant. It has to be so connected. It has to be connected with the topic that you're talking. So you need to also, as remember, we started by saying you need to prepare, you need to craft, you need to organize. So at the beginning of when you're preparing your speech or you're preparing your presentation, make sure that you also prepare the kind of a story that you need to tell people so that it will be relevant. And one way of telling a story is that if you have a good story, you can divide it into two parts. You start the story, and then somewhere between the story, you stop, you continue with your speaking, and then tell them, if you want to listen to the end of it, keep yourself awake. So before you finish the speech, you can give the other part. That you'll have been able to sustain their interest and also sustain a good number of people in the room without leaving. I hope everybody is there. I hope you guys are not leaving, although I've not told your story. Then you should also be able to surprise the audience. Okay. How do we surprise an audience? You can surprise an audience or the audience with by giving a startling or a surprising statistics, right? For example, in Kenya, we are talking about the fuel. So you can surprise people by asking them, suppose the fuel, the price of diesel and petroleum rises to 600 shillings. Would you still come with your car? So you see, that will now get people asking, okay, what is he talking about? And they also start imagining, how can that, if that happens, how can I manage? So your audience is more likely to be hooked when you surprise them by even opening a presentation from an unexpected direction. For example, when you give a surprise statement, people will expect that you build up that statement. So if you come up with a statement like, suppose the price of diesel and petroleum goes to 600, then you can now extrapolate. What does that mean to the cost of other fast consumer goods like sugar, like cooking fat, like soaps, or like flour and all that. So when you surprise your audience, don't just surprise them and leave them surprised. Surprise your audience, and also using that surprise, build, jenga mada, build and the concept. Let the concept also, be built around it so that you can be able to get your point across. This is particularly true if you use a counterintuitive statement that is opposite a popular belief, or by making an improbable assertion. Let me explain again. Let me go through it again. This is particularly true if you use a counterintuitive statement that is opposite. For example, we are talking of inflation, we are talking of cost of living. You can come with a statement like, the cost of living should still go high, as it is going. But the question we should ask yourself is, or what we should work towards, is to make sure that everybody can be able to afford. You see? So that can be a surprise statement, that if the price of fuel goes to 600, let's also put a mechanism that everybody will be able to afford. So that is opposite the popular belief, because the popular belief now in our country is how to lower the cost. But you can come with a counterintuitive statement like, how can we make everybody afford a packet of unga, even if it goes to 700? Surprise your audience. And then remember, we are talking of hooking them. We are talking of impressing them to listen to you. One of the most used way of doing this public speaking is to quote an influential person. You can, and in Kenya, we have many influential people that you can quote. For example, if you're talking about climate change, because that's the topic at the moment, you can quote our environmentalist, Professor Wangari Maathai. So you quote an influential person like that one, you're talking about environment, you're talking about trees, you're talking about the benefit of trees, you're talking about the ecosystem of our forest. So that will gel well, it will augur well with whatever you are saying. So to introduce your presentation and grab their attention, start this, the speech by quoting someone influential. That will help you, break the ice, and will help you to be able to build your concept around it. Inspirational and meaningful quotes enable you to use an expert to build foundation for your topic. I've said that. In such a case, it is best to look for a quote that relates to your topic and describes the state of your speech or presentation. Also, ensure that the quote is short, relevant, and pithy. I'm sure some people are asking the last word there. Ensure that the quote is short, relevant, and pithy. Pithy is also a synonym of the word brief. So you don't have to give a long quotation of 2 pages or 1 page or a whole paragraph. Make sure you can even give an abridged version, so that, because people may not really, master that quote as you have presented it on the slide, but they'll be able to understand if you were able to break it down or if you're able to explain it. Plus, of course, don't confuse yourself by putting a very long quote. So make it short, relevant, and pithy, and also break it down in a way that people will be able to consume it and will be able to attach or see the connection it has with what you're saying. Another point is that make the audience laugh. Make the audience laugh. I don't know whether you're laughing. I'll try to make you laugh before I finish. There's no better way to persuade your audience and get them engaged than by using laughter. So you can come up with something of humor to grab their attention and lighten up the mood. The audience is likely to give you the attention when they feel relaxed and more comfortable. You can come up with a quote, or you can even put an image. You can put a picture there, and maybe ask them, what can you see? What do you understand with this picture? People will laugh, they will start talking. And by then, when people start talking, when people start, trying to understand the picture, or trying to understand that story or something that you have put there, which is, making them feel relaxed, then you'll have opened them up. Remember, when people come to a meeting, even like this one, people are coming there when they have so much to handle. Some, even I know some of you here are still waiting for us to finish so that they go and finish some assignments still on their desk. So we want you to relax. So if you can come up with a joke, and a joke that you have also checked in terms of it doesn't implicate either religion, it doesn't implicate tribes. In Kenya we are sensitive on that. But come up with something that people can laugh at it. Make people laugh at themselves. Make people relax. All right. So it's very important, and you need also to think about it, and even how you'll be able to deliver it. Use a captivating visual. Visuals are known to capture attention. There is no exemption for speeches. We say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So if you can come up with a picture, it will help you to press your point. A public speaking coach will tell you that using a captivating visual is a great way to introduce your message and support your statement. However, be careful how you use the visuals, because parading them too much can distract. Again, don't put so much graphics. It's not an art class. So just put them when you have measured them, in terms of don't put so many of them, but make sure that they are simple to understand, and you can an argument or a conversation can be built around it. That way, and you can get images from wherever. You can get cartoons, you can get real images, you can get images of a particular incident that happened somewhere, just to make sure that it is captivating. And then utilize the imagination of your audience. Another effective technique to hook your audience is to use the imaginations to communicate your message. For instance, tell your audience to close their eyes and imagine something that is linked to your message. Can we do what is written on bullet 2? Tell your audience to close. I hope you're closing. Close your eyes and imagine something that is linked to your message. I can still see some people who have not closed their eyes. Anyway, you can also use words like picture this, all right? Think of, okay? Think of the economy of our country being 10 trillion shillings. So we will not even feel the impact of the high cost of living. So if done right, this can communicate the message to the audience in a clear way. So this is why we are saying, utilize their imagination by telling them to imagine, telling them to picture this, and whatever you're telling them to picture has to be in line with what you're saying. So as I tell you to close your eyes and imagine, the topic is public speaking. Close your eyes and imagine yourself giving a speech in the World Climate Forum for Africa that happened last week. Picture this, right? So in terms of, in other words, when you talk of public speaking, there are so many things that we need to take care of so that you become well-versed, so that you become a speaker that is preferred and a speaker that people can remember. And this graphic, which you can see as part of what we are saying, we put visuals. Number one is how you open. Okay, how do you open your message? You should open with energy, all right? So you open with a lot of energy. For example, you can say a statement with a loud voice or in a whisper. So people, you know, the way you open alone is enough to create attention. Then there's something called the eye contact. Maintain eye contact with the audience. Don't read. I say don't read notes. Just keep eye contact because you have done your rehearsal of the message. And then the structure. How do you structure the message? Inward, outward, forward. Okay. So structure your message well so that you'll be able to move in a very organized way. And then use the commander's intent to stick ideas. So ideas like a bulb, right? And then your voice, use the right pitch. You can be able to pause, you can put loud and all that. And then body. Work on your body language. We have what we call the non-verbals. The non-verbal communication is very important. So the way you, if you are holding your hands and hello, I was saying about body language and saying that with the body language, you communicate quite a lot. And one of the problems people have is what God gave us, which is very important, our hands. Okay, watch people stand in front and you find people don't know how to use their hands. Some will either pocket. So it's very important how you use your hands, especially when you have if you have a microphone, that takes care of one hand. Then the other hand you can use to explain. So be careful that how you use your hands, it can be a distraction or it can be a put off. You can put off some people by the way you use your hands. So it's very important to know what do I do with my hands then. And that's very important. So I think if we take care of these 6 items here, how you open, how you do eye contact, how you structure the ideas, the voice, and the body, will be good. Will be good to go. Now, having taken care of these items, there are some things that are a no-go zone, and it's important that we look at them. I hope you can see that slide called avoid the following. I'm sure if you are like me, you have heard this so many times, and to me, this is very offensive. Have you ever gone to a meeting and somebody stands there and says, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with this kind of technology, so bear with me, all right? That's already a put off. We may not all be IT experts, we may not be all IT savvy, but you don't have to let everybody know that you don't know how to use the technology. You can just, even if you have a problem, like sometimes when you are using Zoom is a bit better, but there is this the Google Meet sometimes is a problem. You don't have to tell people that you are not familiar with it, or you don't have to tell people that this technology is whatever. Just work around it. Don't say you are sorry. Remember, when you are a speaker, we have given you the floor. Like me now, you have given me the floor. So I should not come here and start telling you I'm sorry. I should not be sorry. So you should be able to be in charge. Whenever you're given a place to stand and speak publicly, be in charge. Don't let people see, don't go there saying, I am sorry. And not just public speaking, even in your office, any role, if you are the lead researcher, if you are doing a research in the field, or you are the one leading the committee that is writing a particular report, don't be sorry. You should be in charge. So this is a very big put off when you tell people, I'm sorry, and yet they have given you the mandate to stand, the mandate to lead a team. Secondly, and I'm sure you have heard this, especially when you go to weddings or patios or other public places, then you hear people ask, they take the microphone and they start asking, can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm on point number 2. So you have heard that, eh? Can you hear me? So you should not, or tap the microphone. Eh? So this is something that you should avoid. And then number 3, there's a lot to get through. So I'll go as quickly as I can. In other words, you'll be able to rush so fast, you move so fast. So people already, when you tell them that you're going to move as quickly as you can, people will actually start timing you. They start checking. You said you'll go fast, and yet you are repeating the point again. You are explaining more. So they expect, you said you're going through, so they expect you just to run it through as you said. So it's also another put off when you tell people, I'm going to just run it through, meaning and people will even think that you don't have the facts. So avoid saying, there's a lot to get through, so I'll go. You need to organize your presentation and know if it's a 1 hour, this is how much I can deliver. If it's 2 hours, this is how much I can deliver. Another point is, I try to keep this short, as I don't want to. I try to keep this short, as I don't want to do what? I'm afraid to read that word. I don't want to bore you. So already when you say that, people think, oh, so he already knows that he's a boring speaker. So it's already it's another put off. You have already put the audience off because you have said, I don't want to bore you. It will be interpreted to mean that you already know yourself. So I don't want to bore you. Number 5. Avoid the following. Avoid also saying, let me tell you something about me. In most cases, when you are invited as a speaker, and I know we have been doing this many often in this webinar, there's always the person who will introduce you, and the person introduce you says 1 or 2 things about you. So when you start there again, don't tell us so much about yourself. When you say, let me tell you something about me, people are waiting for the topic. You're talking about public speaking. So people are waiting to hear about public speaking, not about yourself. Unless in the middle of your presentation, maybe you would like to give a very personal example. And again, we also strive so much when you're doing public speaking, avoid giving personal examples, because what you're doing, you're putting yourself as the point of reference. So you should always avoid telling people that, let me tell you something about myself. Somebody has already introduced you. Somebody has already told us about you. So why are you repeating and telling us something about you? So these are things that you need to avoid. They all many times this happen. And something else I did not put here about to avoid is also saying, even if you are not prepared, maybe 2 days to do that vote of thanks or something, don't stand in front of people and you tell them, I was not the speaker of the day, but I was just told today, or I was not the one to say this, but because so and so is not in, that's why I'm here. People, when you tell people that you are not the one to speak, they put their mind off because they are saying, I wish so and so came other than this guy. So whenever you are doing public speaking, even if you are speaking on behalf of somebody, don't go there and say, I am not the one who was supposed to speak, it is so and so. You just go and deliver. In other words, what I'm saying as I come to conclusion is, whenever you're doing public speaking, be it on a stage, be it on an audience like this one, you take full charge. Don't feel like you are not supposed to be there. You are the one in charge. People are listening to you, or people are looking at you. People are watching you. So you should be able to be in charge. Just like you see in the way we see in television, when you see those people who come to read news, they take charge of the audience. They are speaking to millions of Kenyans or to millions of people, but they're also speaking like they are speaking directly to you. That's how you should view it. So you should be confident enough to take charge and to know that whatever you are delivering should be exciting news. And exciting news should be delivered by somebody who is confident enough, and who want to make this exciting news to reach the audiences. My dear listeners, thank you very much. That's all I had prepared. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for such a beautiful session. Now I open the floor to questions. If you're there, you have a burning question, you can type it in the chat, or you can unmute and ask your question. You can also write your remarks in the chat. Karambu said that was a very insightful session. I second. Thank you for attending today's session. We're going to send you the notes in your emails, and we had also shared a link to get your certificate. And to do so, just clear your browser's cache, and you'll be able to get it. To other things, we are going to have another session tomorrow on transformative leadership for strategic value creation. It will be starting at 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. The access fee is 100 bob. It will be virtual, and we want to see you there. We're going to send the link in the chat in a minute.